Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is Dragon King 72 Media LLC. Um, my name is Gregory. Welcome to the Dragon's Den. Y'all go check out my two books that I've been posting on YouTube here. Um, Embrace the Destiny of One. It's the 20th anniversary. Well, the 20th anniversary was last year. It's on Amazon.com. And go check out um, my other book, Thicker Than Water, by Gregory Lamont Hemp. Y'all go check them out. Those are my books. The Thicker Than Water is a multicultural mystery suspense thriller. It's a lot of intrigue, a lot of betrayal, family problems, issues. The resolution comes in a very good way, striking way for the others. The other book is Embrace the Destiny of One. Like I said, 2025 made the 20th anniversary of that book. I'm very proud of it. It was my first one. And y'all go check it out. And it's an occult supernatural thriller. The lead character is gay, but that's not the essence of the story. There's much more. It's about family. It's about betrayal. It's about career. It's about loss. It's about friendships. It's about loss of friendships. It's about mystery, suspense, thriller. It's about a lot of societal and moral issues for oneself, you know what I'm saying, if not for the society in general. But anyway, so y'all go check out that book on Amazon.com as well. So it's Embrace the Destiny of One, and go check out Thicker Than Water by Gregory Lamont Hemp. Okay, now we're going to get into it, right? This video is about Sherry Shepherd, and it was announced yesterday on February the 2nd, 2026, that she lost the show after 4 years. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you, it was doomed to fail. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on any black woman, black person, black man to acquire any success like having your own show, radio, books, or whatever. It was doomed to fail, and because there was a lot of things from a spiritual perspective that was going on with that whole thing. I don't know if y'all have remember that Wendy Williams was going through her issues, and she was battling the issue of her husband now publicly exposing his girlfriend, and the girlfriend was pregnant. And you're not gonna convince me that Wendy didn't know about the mistress, but as long as she wasn't out here in the public and definitely wasn't pregnant, Wendy Williams thought that she could keep that under wraps. Although from the underground sources, that it was always known that he had a mistress or whoever you want to call it on the side, right? So when it came more public, you know what I'm saying, things just really start fucking spiraling out of control. She had to drop on the floor when she was dressed as the Statue of Liberty, and then the other things start coming about. She's got what was it? I forgot what it's Crohn's or Crohn's disease, whatever that is. I'm not sure. And then other things are happening. Her husband's mistress and her now ex-husband, it started getting more public, and she just was spiraling out of control. See, the thing about it was she was so busy gossiping about everybody else's life, who was in the public, and that's what she was known for, and that's why people watch. I rarely watch the show, and full transparency, when I typically watch the show, it was usually I would wait till she would do her going into the audience and throwing a little light shade, but also giving them some decent advice as far as relationships was concerned. All the other gossip that she would do, and another thing, and you can debate it in the comments because I'm telling my truth. I would watch her show, and she could always, she was very light when it came to white people's gossip who were celebrities. But when it came to black folks, she was going in, and she was going so deep. So a lot of black people didn't come on the show because she was really kind of, she had became that one black person on the plantation that told on everybody else that was trying to escape. That's how they were seeing her, because she was telling their business. When it came to other folks, she rarely went. When it came to white people and other people who are non-black, she didn't go that hard. She didn't go that hard. And I was always like, really? Is that what you're doing? So that part of her show I never really respected. You know what I'm saying? Only that. And she wasn't the first one to gossip about celebrities, but when it came to black people, she was always doing something extra, always going a little bit too deep, and I just never understood that shit. I just really didn't, and it just bothered the fuck out of me how she would do that, right? But when it came to white folks, she wouldn't touch that shit so much. You know what I'm saying? Because she just wouldn't, and you imagine why. But so at some point she was getting sick, and her show was being guest host, and then so Sherry Shepherd had finally was the last. She wasn't the last guest host, but she turned her little stint into actually taking over the format. And here's the problem. And here's the karma, Wendy's karma and Sherry's karma. Wendy had, when she was in full rage about her husband and what he was doing, the show was this. She went in full rage over Tabitha Brown saying that her and her husband, Chance Brown, had agreed that once she got established as an actress and then in her the movies or whatever she was doing, she was gonna retire her husband because he did a dangerous job, and he took that dangerous job as a police officer to make sure that he could feed his family and do what he's supposed to do as a father and as a husband, right? Respect all day long, respect, respect. And so when she was able to retire, she did. Immediately, Wendy Williams went on a fucking pound. She went on a fucking attack about, look at this. This isn't real. Look at this, Tabitha Brown. Look at what she's saying about her. Didn't even know Tabitha Brown personally. Tabitha Brown probably never even watched Wendy Williams' fucking show. And if she did, she had the best, intentions for the woman. But Tabitha Brown had did a fucking, I call it a spiritual read, and barely moved an inch, and wherever she was sitting, and read Wendy as for filth, right? So when Sherry had took over, one of her first guests was Tabitha Brown, and I was like, shit, if that ain't Wendy's fucking karma, I don't know what the fuck is right there. Because she was on that same stage that Wendy disrespected her, and Tabitha had to eat her ass. It ended up being on the same stage. That was some karma. That was some real karma right there, and it was well deserved, right? But here is so Tabitha was fine. Wendy got her karma, but here's where Sherry got hers. Sherry took over for the show for her sickness or whatever. But see, nobody thought, you know what I'm saying? Sherry didn't think to herself, this ain't right. This cannot be right. I'm taking over this woman's show. Basically, you somebody said hijack, but you know what I'm saying, and some previous comments in other videos, and she did hijack the damn show. But I would think, as a black woman who revered and loved Wendy Williams, you would think Sherry would have been like, hey, we gotta do something different. I ain't gonna have the audacity to be on the same stage and the same sound stage, same kind of audience, and do this. You know what I'm saying? Because Wendy's energy was still in that damn studio. You see what I'm saying? Her energy was still in the studio. Matter of fact, Sherry had the same, I think, uh, audience producer or producer, Norm, I think his name. She hadn't kept him on for a while until she got that other dude who eventually they had some legal issues going on about him bringing her and spinning her in the chair or whatever. Allegedly, y'all quote somebody else on the bullshit. I'm saying allegedly, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want my communications and media company to get sued, right? So, I mean, you would have think she would have been like, no, I'm not going to have this shit, have my show on the same stage. Matter of fact, she should have got a different fucking production company, or just call the production company and say, hey, I know what y'all trying to do, but my conscience, my morals not gonna let me do this. But see, that's how you know Sherry was being fucking greedy. Yeah, she had an opportunity to have her own show. A lot of people would grab onto it, but at some point, Sherry is always talking about Christian and God and all this, so whatever. I'm not Christian, but you would think that somebody with those type of morals would have been like, you know what? I appreciate what y'all trying to do for me, and this is an opportunity, and I need to seize it. But we need to change the whole format. We need to go somewhere else, like somewhere else in this fucking building, build another sound stage, take it across the street, across town, do something where the energy of what was here does not linger. Because eventually the karma fucking set in. Wendy Williams, that energy, her energy in that show was all over that sound stage. The people that she worked with, somebody should have said, this is not going to work. I'm surprised that Sherry didn't have some type of premonition, some type of dream. Somebody, I mean, shit, at some point, I would have blessed and exercised the whole fucking stage, because Wendy's is still alive, but her energy, how she worked, the people, they were still there. And you ain't gonna convince me that some of those people that stayed for a minute after when after Sherry had her stuff, they wasn't thinking bad thoughts about Sherry and how maybe the new production was going. Some people stick around just so they can keep a job, but eventually all them motherfuckers got the fuck up out of there, because it was just like the energy was still there. But I predicted, I don't know if I said it in a previous video, I may have been saying it to somebody else, but I predicted that Sherry Shepherd, that show was not gonna fucking last. I said that a while ago. I think I said that in 2024, that fucking show was not going to last. I think I said then too. I said something about this is not right. You know what I'm saying? That was before I read the hijack comment about Sherry Shepherd hijacking the show, because it was not respectful. It was not done with the right intent. They did not, what I'm saying, they could have took that whole sound stage and did something different. But they pretty much used the same fucking format, minus all the gossip. But Sherry did a little bit of that too. She had a little, her screens. I mean, the stage, the aesthetics changed just barely, but the actual energy, Wendy is all over that place. That's why the shit didn't work. Because and that's Sherry's karma, because she should have had enough sense to say, this is not going to work. I cannot disrespect Wendy's memory like this. She built something here. I'm not finna take over and try to bamboozle, do my own shit where she had this energy. It just don't fucking work. It just doesn't fucking work. They're just like somebody who married, who had sex with their spouse, male or female, and then their spouse passed away, and then you meet your 2 3 years or whatever, you meet a boyfriend, a girlfriend, same sex, whatever, and y'all fucking in the same bed. No, what? No, it's time to get a new fucking bed. It's time to, you gonna fuck in another room or something, or get in the fuck on another bed. Why would you? And it's the same thing. You in the same fucking soundstage where Wendy Williams was. Girl, the energy was not right, and then all this other shit started happening. It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen, because you gotta do people right. You know what I'm saying? And that whole show was, like I said, I never, and here go full transparency. Sherry Shepherd is probably a nice person, but I don't. And some of y'all are gonna watch and say, "Well, you a random nigga." No, I'm not a random nigga. I was somebody the moment I was born and given my name, I was somebody. So all that random shit, you can say that for yourself. But at the end of the day, Sherry Shepherd should have known better. You know what I'm saying? I've never been a fan of Sherry Shepherd's. Never. She's had her moments, but I would never go see her on stage. I would never see this woman, you know what I'm saying, when she was on the Jamie Foxx show, she had her moments on that show, but nah. No, 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 no. She was never my cup of tea. I never cared for the show. I'm not a fan of hers. I'm sure she's a sweet person on a personal level, but as far as her comedic, I've never been a fan of Sherry's. I just haven't. You know what I'm saying? I think she tries too hard when she doesn't have to. As far as her comedy is concerned, it don't take all that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the show got canceled out for 4 years because the spiritual energy was not right in that on that soundstage. It just wasn't. You could have took that whole damn show and revamped it. It did something. Matter of fact, it shouldn't even been in that same soundstage. You know what I'm saying? It should have been somewhere else in that building. You know what I'm saying? So you can totally remove yourself from that spiritual karma that was coming your way 4 years later. I mean, just hey, it is what it is. But that's about all I had to say. But like I said, I'm not surprised that Sherry Shepherd's show was canceled. It just the spiritual energy was not right. I wasn't surprised at all, and I predicted that it wasn't gonna last another 2 years. In 2025, I predicted that it wasn't gonna last another 2 years, and it didn't, and it didn't at all. Okay, so anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Hey, send this to Sherry. I don't give a fuck if you do or not. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever you're going to put it. But thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to Dragon King 72 Media, LLC. And I look forward to talking to y'all again. Peace out.